even late evening meetings. So can tutandike? Morning, everybody. Morning to all those viewing us. Today, Monday the 18th, we have briefings on the state of security and crime in the country. We follow incidents that occurred within the week. Then we also share experiences on issues we feel we should give some advice. The first item, as you are all aware, we had the Nyege Nyege Festival, which ran through and concluded yesterday. From the side of security, we wish to inform you that it ended well without any major security breaches. By security standards, we would say everything went well. We made some arrests. We made 35 arrests, all of whom were male. Those cases usually don't miss. There are some few people who always want to destabilize others. But by festival standards, 35 is also a small number, so there was generally security. We also had the Uganda Cranes versus South Africa, Bafana in Nambole, which also security angle and perspective all was well. Remember, we have been having security breaches, people jumping over the walls, fences. This time round, the supporters or the attendants were really, they did not exhibit that behavior. People entered, came early, and he came out peacefully, irrespective of the results. So those are two areas security did a good job. Let's go to our operational incidents. In Fort Portal, we had an attack on a businesswoman on 14th November at around 7 p.m. A group of assailants attacked a lady at her workplace, Baguma and KI Motorcycles Spare Enterprise, located in Kisenyi, Bazaar Ward, Central Division of Fort Portal City. The attackers are estimated to have been around 8 in number, armed with a rifle. They confronted the victim and other employees, threatening them with death unless they surrendered money. They managed to take an amount of money estimated around 50 million and fled. The police was alerted, which responded promptly. However, along the way, the irate mob apprehended one of the suspects, only known by nickname Kanyankole, whom they lynched, they put out of action. Meanwhile, we were moving on intelligence, and we managed to track one Businge Abdallah, commonly known as Vina, who had boarded a link bus, and in collaboration with the police in Mubende, they managed to apprehend him, and they found him with the money in his possession. There was also another story where police did a crackdown on electricity wire theft ring in Mukono, and 5 suspects were arrested in Katega village, Mukono district. On 15th November, at around midday, half past midday, we had intelligence information regarding a group suspected of stealing electricity wires, which prompted us to respond. And during the operation, we arrested the 5 suspects. Good enough, we got them red-handed with the 2 rows of ABC conductor electric wires, umeme uniforms, and other related equipment. These included Ntale Peter, Chalisa Adolf, Hamis Kaye Rashid, Kajubi Isa, Nabulia Miracle. The community became agitated and attempted to reach the suspects, but we managed to secure them. Police proceeded to make a search in the vehicle of Hamis Kaye Rashid's of registration number UBQ 58K, and we got 2 rolls of ABC conductor wires. Additionally, a search was done at the residence of Ntale Peter. That's where we got the umeme uniforms, the climbing shoes, belts, and other electrical equipment. All suspects are in our custody, awaiting prosecution. This marks the 2nd arrest for Ntale. Ntale Peter has been connected to a number of electricity, stealing of electricity material and vandalism generally. He was previously apprehended on 23rd April 2023 during a similar operation. On this occasion, when police received the information, they camped at Peter's residence, and that is where they managed to, the vehicle which was carrying stolen material particularly came and fell into the police ambush. There has been notable vandalism also in Champisi, with Kajubi previously linked to thefts. On 4th November, his motorcycle was left behind during a prior escape after committing vandalism. Chalisima Adolf's motorcycle was found containing umeme uniforms and climbing shoes. So these people, generally, what we want to communicate is that they are jailbirds. They have records of walking into police cells, prisons, and then they come out and begin from where they end. But this time around, we pledge to really squeeze them a little more. We shall share the photos of the exhibits. Police also did a crackdown on criminal activities in Kampala, where we arrested 39 in our operations. I always talk about these operations. We have intensified them, especially as we head towards the festive season. On Saturday, we did operations in Katabi. We also did another one along Clock Tower. You remember that Clock Tower has those young men who take advantage of the traffic gridlock to snatch phones and other valuables from revelers and people in motor vehicles. So at Clock Tower, we did an operation and netted 25. In Katabi, we also did the same and netted 14. And these operations shall always be continuous because we really need to make our roads safe and our community. Lastly, we just had an incident of in Mbale on 16th November at around 3:30 p.m. A group of Imbalu boys armed with pangas, sticks and stones attacked several individuals in Katwa Kasel, Mangeni Ward, Industrial Division of Mbale City. They injured a man named Wesonga Swaib by striking him on the head with a panga and robbed him along with the other victims of their belongings, including phones and other items. Police managed to apprehend some suspects, 3 in particular. We have Wamimbi Bosco, Watua Bernard, and Wabulo Moses in our custody. But our message here is that we do not want, and we shall this time round, whenever we are having these kadodis, we shall pick keen interest in making sure that wrong elements do not infiltrate them. We have always had our Imbalu and Kadodi events without any disturbances. Now here are these young men who use them to particularly perpetuate crime, which we feel is unfortunate, but we shall address. I thank you. Mwasuze mutya mwena abatulaba n'abatuwuliriza Fourth Estate. Tuyina issues zetusharinga namwe buli wiiki ebiba bigudde mu wiiki eba eyiseewo, n'okuwa obuwabuzi ku issues ezimu zetulowooza nti muba mwetaaga obuwabuzi obwo. Tujja kutandika ne festival ya nyegenyege eyali ejjinja. Poliisi tugamba nti ku side ya security nyegenyege yatambula bulungi, twagipolisinga bulungi ne sister agencies za security, tetwayina buzibu bwonna. N'abantu nabo tebatubeerera bazibu, okujjako nti just twakwatayo abantu 35, naye nga bwe mumanyi ebivulu tewabulamu basiiwufu ba mpisa, so usually bwe babaamu abo tutera okubalonda ne tubajjamu. Naye nga nyegenyege yatambula bulungi, era jjo bwe yawedde nga teturegisterinze misango gy'amaanyi egikwasagana n'obumenyi bw'amateeka. Abo bonna 35 be twakwata baali basajja, temwalimu bakyala. Issue endala gye tuyina ye yali eya robbery eyaliwo Kabarole, Fort Poto. Omukyala omu bamulumba mu bizinesi ye gye bayita Abaguma and KI Motorcycles Spares mu area ya Kisenyi mu Gunusel mu Bazaar Ward. Omukyala ono n'abakozi be group ya babbi abaali ndowooza nga 8, tebereza balinga 8, balumba bizinesi ye ne basobola okubba $50,000, tutebereza zalinga mu 50, engeri gye bagamba. Bwe bamala ne badduka, naye poliisi bwe yategeezebwa nejja ne respondinga nga tenaba kutuuka, already n'abantu nabo ne beekolamu omulimu. Mu bantu abo ababbi 8, omu abantu ba bulijjo basobola omukwata ne bamuumiza omusu ne bamujja mu budde. That was mob justice. Amanyiddwa nickname ye nga Kanyankole. Then waliwo omulala eyalinnya Bass eya Link. So bwe twafuna intelligence information eyo nti alinye Link, ne tucoordinatinga ne poliisi yaffe eya Mubende, era basobola okumukwata. Ono nga amanyiddwa nga Businje Abdallah, naye nga abangi bamumanyi nga Vina. Era ono kirungi twamusanga n'ebizibiti bya ssente, era nga wetwogerera tumuyina mu Katuukulu. Then story endala ye twakolayo ekikwekweto Mukono Katenga village. Mukono ekikwekweto kyali ku babbi ebintu eby'amasanyalaze, wires n'ebintu ebirala, era nga bano twabasanga ne ABC conductor electric wires, uniform za umeme n'ebyuma ebirinya polo z'amasanyalaze, era nga bano ye Ntale Peter, Chalisima Adolf, Hamis Kaye Rashid, Kajubi Isa ne Nabulia Miracle. Mu motoka ya Hamis Kaye mwe twasanga conductor ABC conductor wires, then bwe twagenda ne maka ga Ntale Peter, eyo twasangayo uniforms za umeme. Naye bano abantu babadde ku watch list yaffe, era n'ekirala babadde tebagwa gundi, buli kiseera babeera mu makomera, naye buli we bava mu makomera ne bajja batandikira we baba bakomye. Naye twagala okutegeeza nti kati tugenda kubateekako amaanyi mangiko okulaba nti guno omuze gukoma. Emotoka ya Rashidi number plate is UBQ 585K Nuwa. Then twakolayo n'ebikwekweto ku Clock Tower ne Katabi nga 16 November. Bino ebikwekweto byali byaku nga bwe mumanyi tugenda mu season ya Christmas ne New Year, naye tulina bano abavubuka abatayiminga traffic jam ku Clock Tower awo. Ne bwe bateri traffic jam naye banyaga obusimu, banyaga ebintu bingi nnyo, era bano twabakolamu ekikwekweto ne tukwatamu 25. Then Katabi nayo twakolayo ekikwekweto Katabi Town Council, ne tukwatayo 14. Era ebyo ebikwekweto tujja kuba tubikola ne mu maaso eyo. Ekisembayo waliyo Kadodi oba Imbalu celebration yali egenda maaso Embale nga 16 November. Kati nga bwe mumanyi Imbalu eyo cultural practice yaffe tubadde nayo, naye kati this time waliwo abalenzi baleetamu omuze, bakozesa chance eyo okubba abantu. Baali bayina n'ebisi, pangas, bintu bingi nnyo, era basobola okutuusaako omuzeeyi omu we bayita Wesonga Swipe obuvune. Naye kyamukisa mulungi, poliisi yasobola okukwatayo abalenzi 3 omuli Wamimbi Bosco, Watuba Bernard ne Wabulo Moses, era tubayina, naye tulabula nti tetwagala bantu kugezaako kuyingirira cultural festival gondi ebivulo ebyo. Tubadde nabyo ffe very long time nga bya ddembe, naye kati wazzeemu bano abasibufu b'empisa, era tetugenda kubakkiriza kweyisa bwe bati. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Yes. wanje Businje yabadde ku baasi edda Kampala ng'ava bwe bamala okukola robbery ye yalinya baasi eya link kuva Fort ng'adda Kampala ne tumuinterceptingira Mubende. Yes, sir.
Last week you told us that you have directed to your commanders to be on the watch on the issue of stealing animals and poultry, especially those which are killed during the night. Have you got any issue? Because we still have so many people complaining about the theft of their animals. Second, we are seeing operations in the Kampala metropolitan being active ahead of the festive season. How about other areas?
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
And last week, diction is what is being advanced.
Yes, sir. Ndoza last kyekimu kale. So we shall start with the English version. Jude raises concerns. Yeah, last week we talked about strengthening security against theft of animals. Particularly we mentioned that animals are moving in the night, and which is both illegal, but also that is the route through which they easily get stolen. Those orders are still standing. The operations are on, but like the way you know, you may, when you put those stringent measures, there are some few people who will always jump and pass on the sides and break those very laws, those very regulations. But by and large, for us, that is the position, and that is our operational stand, that we are highly restricting movement of animals in the nights, and that once got, action would be taken. Then, of course, additionally, Ndugu Jude, we also want to treat your information as feedback. If there are challenges, then that means we are going to tighten our belts. Then Jude also raised an issue on operations in KMP. Yes, I think that one, let me also get it as a feedback from you. I'm going to talk to my colleagues so that we intensify operations in other areas. Kampala Metropolitan has intensified in the last couple of months, and the good thing, I have made it a point to make sure that you are aware. Operations along the bypass, operations in Weyogerere, Chireku, where operations in now these ones which I've mentioned, but let me pledge we are going to do a little more, because it's these nature of crimes are not affecting only Kampala metropolitan area, they are also affecting other city and urban setups. So That one is also good feedback. Then somebody has asked about the scuffle that was in Lira involving a diplomat. Yeah, the information we have, yeah, there was a scuffle. There was a scuffle. There was a component, of course, which created the discomfort in most circles, the one of pulling out of a firearm. Now, that is an issue I would prefer that we leave it for investigators. As a matter of fact, yes, a gun was pulled out, but now the question of why and what are the implications, that one I would leave it for the investigators. It is still ripe. But good luck. There was no bullet discharged, and there was no person injured as a result of the firearm. The rest are manageable, and we shall be getting back to you as we unveil precisely what happened and why. Oh, I've not incidentally, when I was on this particular matter, I did not consult on the issue of whether anybody is in custody. So I would not wish to give you information which is inaccurate. Then somebody asked about the incident which happened in Chireka, and as to whether we received a letter from the Ministry of Lands. If we receive it, we shall inform you. But at the moment, at least I am not briefed about it. The only issue I know is that police has land in Chireka. No, an eviction, there is no blanket declaration on evictions. Let me first correct you on that one. We do not, for instance, right now, you cannot go and illegally occupy a wetland, a piece of land, and you say, I have occupied here, do not remove me from here since evictions are. No, there is no, first and foremost, take it from me, there is no blanket declaration on illegality of evictions. Evictions can only be illegal if they do not follow particular statutory requirements. There are particular laws and regulations we follow when we are carrying out evictions. Two, on this particular issue of that land is police land. This is government land. And just a few scrupulous characters came and thought they would. Actually, for us, what we did as police, we prevented an invasion. People came with bricks and timber to occupy police land. And that's what we prevented. Exactly. Even when you see the photos and videos, people came with fresh sand. Yeah, and which is common with most of these land. Actually, the people whom we chased are land grabbers. And you know that we have been doing serious counter measures against land grabbers. Those people who think that you will come, occupy police land, occupy government land, and then make noise all over the place with an intention of attracting sympathy. This time it did not work out well. We immediately and swiftly came in and simply threw them to the side. And we are also sending a very strong message that we are not going to tolerate that kind of behavior. and impunity. We shall address it with the law, but also in a strong and steady manner. So that land, you just know that that land is police land, which was invaded by scrupulous fellows in a wanton manner, and something we could not stomach. I will not comment about that. We shall find a manner of communicating. We shall communicate with the minister through the right channels. Then there was the issue of the letter police wrote to NUP. Yes, police wrote to NUP. We have not got feedback from them, but when we get feedback, then we shall answer them. We have always been in contact, and I know and I'm sure anytime they will be getting back to us. Yeah. Issue ya Jude gye yaleese ya obubbi bw'ebisolo agamba bukyagenda mu maaso wadde twali tuwadde ekiragiro nti ebisolo tebitambuzibwa kiro. Yes, tukyayinamu okusoomozebwa kutonotono nti ebikwekweto byaffe era waliwo ababiyita emabega, naye tukyalemedde ku ekyo, era bwe tufunayo abantu abamenya amateeka gano era tujja kubakwatamu. Naye nga orders zaffe ez'okumakinga sure nti ebisolo tebitambula kiro ekyaliwo, era ne ba commanders balina okugikwasisa n'amaanyi. Then ebikwekweto bya KMP, Judy abuuziza nga tebi mu operational areas endala, regions nga tetubiwulira. Obubaka bwo nja kubutuusaayo. Tulina okulaba nti bino ebikwekweto tebibeera mu Kampala metropolitan area yokka, naye tugezaako okubitambuza eggwanga yonna kubanga tubyetaaga. Then lira twalinayo sikafu eyo gye mwawulira, omubaka omu bwe yatuuka n'okugyayo emmundu mu culture meeting eyaliwo. Omubaka ekirungi twasobola okumudisarminga, n'emmundu teyatuusako muntu yenna bulabe. Naye kati of course waliwo ambuuziza nti ali mu komera, mbadde siina information eyo, naye kyenjagala okutegeeza is that investigations zo zigenda mu maaso, ebinaavaamu maybe bye tunasharinga. Then ekyaliwo ku ttaka ly'Ekireka, ttaka ly'Ekireka waliwo abantu abajja okuwamba ettaka lya poliisi. Poliisi lino ettaka teyalifunye jjo. Poliisi is a very old institution. Poliisi ya Uganda ebaddewo since 1906. Naye kati tulinayo abantu abazze ne baleeta materials ne baziyiwa ku ttaka lyaffe. So okugezaako okulemesa ekyo ekiwamba ttaka ne tubaziyiza. So okubategeeza nti tetujja kukkiriza eyo empisa, n'okugezaako okulaba nti era bwe banaddamu kiyinza obutabagendera bulungi. Eyo information gye twagala okubategeeza. Then waliwo abuuzizza ku kiwandiiko kye twawandikira NUP. Ekiwandiiko twabawandikira, tusuubira ndowooza bajja kuba batuddamu, era bwe banaamala okutuddamu then tujja kuba tutandikira awo. Yes. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
morning. Welcome back from the weekend. I'll start with Nambole. Majorly, the event was a success. You all know what was there. We had the match on Friday between Uganda Cranes and South Africa. I don't know the name they use at home, but we all saw how it went. It wasn't a very good game for us, but we thank everyone that participated in it peacefully. However, like the saying goes, we cannot fail to find any unscrupulous people on such a day. We managed to arrest on intelligence 15 persons. We picked information that they were selling counterfeit tickets, and out of the 15, we managed to screen out 2. These ones were just cautions on the ground that they were students at one of the universities in Uganda. The 12, rather, we've screened out 3, and 12 are going to be arraigned today at Chira Magistrate Court on allegations of dealing in counterfeits. So we didn't register many cases of thefts of phones. However, there is a gentleman whom we picked. There are actually 2 people. One was got drunk in the middle of the road. The other was picked assaulted, and the matter is under investigation to ascertain what exactly happened to him. There was also a drowning yesterday in Rubiji water. We managed to recover a body of one Chikawa Benon. This is a teacher at Our Lady of Fatima Nakulabye, Zone 6 in Ruwaga. We don't know what exactly happened to him, but we found his body floating in a Ruviji swamp, and it was picked yesterday at about 8:30 in the morning and conveyed to City Mochade, Mulago, for post-mortem. There is also a suspected murder. It could be a murder, it could be something else. There was also a body, either due to heavy rainfall or something that was recovered from the Kasengeje swamp. It is not yet identified. It was also conveyed to City Mochade Mulago yesterday. We are waiting from experts to highlight us on whether it is a murder or the injuries we found in the body are just out of the fact that the body went through a stream until it found itself in a swamp. There is also a murder we are investigating of a female juvenile, now deceased, one Dagire Chloe, 4 years of age, a resident of Chirinyabigo Zone, Naguru Division in Wakiso. On the 15th of this month, we received information at around 1800 hours at our police station in Kawempe of a child who had gone missing while she was playing outside her home with her friends. The mother had wanted to shower her, asked the friends around, but they could not find her. She came to police and reported the disappearance of her child, and we started investigation. She came the following day on the 16th. So yesterday, the 17th, at about 1300 hours, we received information in Kawanda that there is a body of an unidentified child in an abandoned house. It was later on confirmed that it was actually the child that had gone missing previously that was found dead. There are signs of sexual assault. We cannot confirm them now. We are waiting for experts to help us confirm that. And then she was later on strangled and hit to death. In a very, very gruesome way. So investigations are ongoing. The body was just a few meters, like 200 meters from her home. in an abandoned structure. So investigations are ongoing, and we shall be briefing you when we have more details about this. Continue to talk about operations within the CBD. We have been registering a lot of complaints, thefts of phones, muggings, and within the CBD, specifically Wandege and CPS, conducted operations over the weekend where they arrested several suspected criminals, 50 in number at the 2 police stations, and we managed to screen out, and today they will be arraigned at both Uganda Road and LDC courts on allegations of being in possession of suspected stolen items and unlawful possession of narcotic substances. Yeah, Uganda. Nsonga y'Enambole njagala bategeeza nti okutwaliza awamu omupiira gwatambula bulungi naddala ku sayidi eyaffe ey'ebyokwerinda, wabula era nga bw'omanyi nti ku mbaga tekubulako musiiwufu. Waliwo amawulire ge twafuna essaawa ezo nti abantu abamu baali batandise otunda tiketi ez'ekibicupuli ku geeti, era baafera abantu bangi. Twakola ekikwekweto mwe twakwatira abantu 15 era ne batwalibwa ku poliisi yaffe ey'Obweyogerere ne Kira, era omwo mwe twasobodde okuba sunsulamu ne tugyamu abantu 3 be tutadde ku koshoni olw'okuba nti bayizi ku ssomero erimu ku yunivasite emu, ate ndowooza bagenda na mu bibuuzo, so twabasuusuddemu n'okubasonyiwa ku grounds ezo. Naye 12 abasigadde olunaku olwaliro bakutwalibwa mu poliisi ku kooti ey'Ekira ku bigambibwa okuba nti nno babadde badiiringa mu bintu, babadiiringa mu bicupuli kyo naddala ebya tiketi. So okunoonyereza ko kukyagenda mu maaso era nga tuvumirira omuze guno gwe tulaba nti gweyongedde. Twagala otegeeza abantu nti abantu abatunda ebicupuli bya tiketi be baleeta ebiseera ebisinga obuzibu ku geeti eziyingira eNambole, kuba ebiseera ebisinga zikozesa koodi okuggulawo okuyingira okwakusesinga ekyo ekifo. So tubasaba okulekerawo okuba nti nomwenyigira mu kugula tiketi zino. Mu ngeri y'emu waliwo omuntu omu yasangiddwa ng'atamidde bubi nnyo mu kkubo ku lunaku olwo lwennyini eNambole, omulala twamusanze ali mu mbeera mbi ng'agambibwa okuba oba ateeberezebwa okuba nti yakubiddwa abantu abatannategeerekeka ne bamubbako ebibye. So okunoonyereza ku nsonga eyo kukyagenda mu maaso, naye ng'okutwaliza awamu twasobodde okuwa obukuumi namungi w'abantu era omupiira ne guggwa bulungi nga tewali kutaataaganyizibwa kwonna. Waliwo omusomesa eyasangiddwa mu mwala awo mu Lubigi nga mufu. Tumanyi butya bwe yayituuseeyo, naye nga kigambibwa okuba nti n'amazzi oba enkuba eyatonnye oba yaseereera n'agwa mu mazzi ago n'afa. Omusomesa ye Kikawa Benon, tutegeddeko nti asomesa ku Our Lady of Fatima Nankulaba ezoona awo mu Lubaga division. Kunoonyereza ko kukyagenda mu maaso naye ng'omubiri gwe gwaggiddwa olunaku olwajjo ku ssaawa 2:30 era nga fayiro enoonyereza ku kufa kwe yagguddwawo okusooka okwetegereza ensonga eno ki ekyamuviiriddeko okufa. Mu ngeri y'emu tulina omulambo omulala era gwe twasanze mu mazzi, nagwo tetunnakakasa kutya bwe gwatuuseeyo oba naye yatuusiddwako ttemu kuba yasangiddwako ebisago bingi, oba amazzi gamusinzizza amaanyi ne gamukubakuba ku biyinja, naye nga gwo twasazeewo okuba nti notunoonyereza kigambibwa okuba nti naayinza okuba yatemuddwa. Abasawo bwe banaaba batubuulidde ekirala kyonna ekyamusse tujja kubeera tubategeeza. Ono ye tannaba kutegeerekeka naye nga yasangiddwa mu lutobazi lw'e Kasengejje. Kunoonyereza kukyagenda mu maaso era tujja kuba tubabuulira ebisinga. Waliwo obwana bw'obuwala myaka 4. Ono nga Ndagire Chloe agambibwa okuba nti nno yawambibwa ennaku z'omwezi 15 mu bitundu by'Ekirinnya Bigozooni Nabweru division mu Makiso, era bazadde be ennaku z'omwezi 15 oluvannyuma lw'okuba nti nno tebaalaba mwana waabwe bajja ne baggulawo omusango ku poliisi ey'e Kawanda. Tuba tuli awo olunaku olwajjo obudde bwabadde ku ssaawa nga 7 ne tufuna amawulire nti mita nga 2 okwesuula abantu bano we babeera ennyumba etannaggwa waliwo omulambo ogwasangiddwa gwa mwana emyaka gye gimu n'oyo eyabula gwe tubadde tunoonya. Tujja okwetegereza n'abazadde twakakasizza nti omwana oyo abadde anoonyezebwa. Kigambibwa nti abantu abatannategeerekeka oba omuntu bakakkaje ku mwana ono ne bamukuba bubi, ng'era waliwo ekiteeberezebwa okuba nti yasoose kusobezebwako naye kye tutanabakakasa. So abakugu bali mu kuba nti no beetegereza omubiri guno, era byonna bye banaabasanze bijja kuba bituyamba mu kunoonyereza kwe tuli mu kukola. Tuvumirira ebikolwa bino omwana ono yatiddwa mu Bambwe, era kaweefube yonna tugitaddewo okulaba nti nno tuzuula bani abali emabega w'ekikolwa kino. Tutuusa okusaasira eri abazadde ab'omwana ono, era tusabira abatuuze oba abantu bonna aba bulijjo abalina amawulire agayinza otuyambako mu kunoonyereza kuno baveeyo batutegeezeeko tusobole okuba nti tukwata abantu abali emabega w'ekikolwa kino. Mu ngeri y'emu mu kulaba nga twetegekera ennaku enkulu okuba nti tuziyitamu bulungi naddala mu Kampala makkati, poliisi zaffe ewandegeya ne CPS zakoze ebikwekweto ku wiikendi eno, era zaviiriddemu okukwatibwa kw'abantu 50. Bano bagambibwa okuba nti nno badiringa mu biragalalagala okubitunda oba okubba amasimu, side mirror mu traffic jam n'ebirala. So basangiddwa n'ebintu ebiteeberezebwa okuba ebibbe omuli amasimu, obusawo bw'abakazi, ebiragalalagala, era nga basunsuddwamu ng'ennamba esigadde yakwanjula mu mbuga z'amateeka olunaku olwaleero kkooti eya Buganda Road n'eya LDC. Kunoonyereza okukyagenda mu maaso naye nga nabyo ebikwekweto tukyanyiikidde okulaba nti nno byeyongerera ddala amaanyi, okulaba nti n'obumenyi bw'amateeka bukendeerera ddala naddala mu kibuga mu makkati. Mwebale.
Good morning, members. Greetings from the Ministry of Internal Affairs as usual. And we have a few issues to report to the public. The first one is a travel advisory to the public, especially Ugandans who are traveling to within the East African community, especially going to Kenya and Rwanda using national IDs. We have received unnoted challenges faced by Ugandan travelers to Kenya and Rwanda using the national ID. Despite the 1-year extension, national IDs with face value expired status are being rejected by authorities across the border, sometimes resulting in additional fees to members of the public who are using those IDs to travel there. So to avoid similar scenarios, we advise travelers to use passports, and those who don't have passports can apply and acquire certificates of identity, which are also available at inland borders and inland offices across the country. This document enables one to travel to East Africa and COMESA member countries. The document costs 40,000 shillings only, and what you have to present or avail before applying for the same is a copy of the national ID or any other document showing that you are a citizen of the Republic of Uganda. The one-year extension of national ID validity, of course, remains in effect, and the arrangement with Kenya and Rwanda allowing nationals to move across borders remains unchanged. So we can still notify you that going to Kenya and Rwanda using national ID is still in effect, except that only those IDs that have not yet expired will be applicable. Those with the face value of expired IDs are advised to use other documents other than national IDs because of the challenges I have enumerated above. So we urge Ugandans to participate in the upcoming mass renewal and registration exercise for national IDs. As you know, most of the national IDs have expired because we started acquiring national IDs in 2014, yeah? So most of the national IDs have expired. You are all aware that the Minister of Internal Affairs released the document, of course, extending the face value of the national IDs by 1 year. But now, within the period, I urge everybody to make it a point to go to NIRA and ensure that their national IDs are renewed. The second one is we have registered a very big number of passports stuck. These are passports that are not completed, stuck on our system, totaling about over 15,000 on account of mistakes that are made by applicants. And most of these mistakes are done by parents who are applying passports for their children. So we have often had parents wrongly input their names while applying for their children's passports. For instance, my name is Monday. I am applying for a passport for my son. And now instead of putting my son's name, then I put my name in the system as the name of the applicant. So that one is not right. So to avoid unnecessary inconveniences, parents or guardians are reminded to ensure correct information is provided for child passport applications. And also to avoid inputting their own details instead of the child's detail. Of course, we do verify this information before submitting and before processing the passports. So we also ask the parents who apply for passports for their children to first verify this information, the names, the date of birth, and all those other details to ensure that everything is right before actually submitting and paying. Because incorrect applications will require a parent to submit a new application with correct child details and fresh payments. Of course, the refund requests from URA, Uganda Revenue Authority, will apply. Those who have paid erroneously can ask for a refund from Uganda Revenue Authority. Normally, if you applied for a passport, paid for it, and maybe in the end realize that you paid for a wrong passport, like we have so many cases of people, about 3,000 who applied for wrong passports. You find somebody, an ordinary Ugandan, applying for a diplomatic passport and actually going ahead and paying for it. These are totaling about 3,000. Now, paying for this passport, for us as passport office, we shall not process this passport because such a person does not qualify for that kind of passport. So for you to be able to be refunded the money, you have got to write to Commissioner Domestic Taxes, Uganda Revenue Authority, of course explaining and detailing why you made such a payment, and also attaching the receipt. Such payment that were made erroneously will be refunded, but not with Passport Office. It is the mandate of Uganda Revenue Authority, first of all, to collect the passport fees, but also be able to refund those payments that are made erroneously. So of course we have basic requirements for passport applications, especially for children. I am paying particular reference to children because there are so many passports for children, juveniles on our system, which have not been concluded, and parents have either given up or failed to avail the information needed. Birth certificate is one of the requirements, which should have a NIN and the parents' national ID, that is the mother and the father. Parents' passports, national ID for mother or father. If one of them is available, we could go with whoever is available, either the mother or the father. Not necessarily both of them have to go. Then parents' passports, if applicable, if you have passport, but some parents don't have passports, so they can go ahead and apply for their children. There are some parents who have given up on travel. And of course, it doesn't mean that the children should not apply for a passport. Then we have letter of consent from the parents, one of the parents, the mother, biological, or the father can give a letter of consent. But we request parents to, when applying for passports, to agree on the names of children. We have had instances where the mothers are giving in different names, the fathers are also giving in different names, so it brings some conflict, and it has caused some children not to acquire passports. So for you to be able to apply for passports for your children, first agree on the names, and these are the names which should be appearing on the birth certificate or national ID card. Same applies to adults. The names you apply for on the passport form should be those that are appearing on your national ID, because national ID bears the primary data which we all depend on. The other, during last week, I think, last week and 2 weeks ago, thereabouts, we received several inquiries from individuals identifying themselves as fans of somebody popularly known as Muzungu Boda, asking whether he was deported from Uganda and the reasons for the deportation. This gentleman, his real names are Reid Samuel James Amin. Reid Samuel James Amin, but popularly known as Muzungu Boda on social media, especially TikTok. He was recently, of course, removed from Uganda for reasons based on working illegally on a visitor's pass. He has since returned to his home country of New Zealand. We did not deport this gentleman, we removed him. There are two things here. There's organized departure. If you're a foreigner found working on a visitor's pass or on a wrong visa, we organize for your removal from the country. And if you acquire the necessary papers that allow you to work, then you're allowed to come back into the country, which is different from deportation. Deportation is ordered by one, the Minister of Internal Affairs or courts of law. Courts of law or Minister of Internal Affairs. Nobody else orders deportation. Now, what happens with deportation the individual is not allowed to return to the country whatsoever. For organized departure, somebody can go back to their country, rearrange and reorganize themselves and acquire the necessary facilities and be able to return to the country to continue with their work. For deportation, you cannot be allowed to return to the country. So for this Muzungu border, he was merely removed. This gentleman was found working, running a charitable non-governmental organization illegally without a work permit. And those are the reasons that formed the basis for his organized removal. At some point, you would find this man in one of the recordings doing very weird things, and we even imagined whether he was in his right sense of mind. In one recording which he did with children, he would be seen drifting with children to very worrying levels, almost children hitting their heads on the tarmac and crying. Children are seen crying while he was laughing, you know. That was a very terrible thing. In another, we saw him run to an old woman, I think, who was carrying her matoke on the head. He's seen grabbing the matoke from the lady's head, then was forcefully seen kissing the lady's breast. And the lady was not amused. After seeing that the lady was not amused, he tossed a 10,000 note to the old woman. Now, such things are not allowed in the African culture, where you grab somebody in public wanting to kiss. That amounts to sexual assault. So he was doing so many things at departures in Entebbe at the airport. He behaved in an awkward situation by yelling at whoever he saw wearing either immigration uniform or government of Uganda with the government of Uganda badge. So that kind of behavior was really uncalled for. So we peacefully sent him to his country and asking him to first reorganize himself. Then he will return and we shall let him in. He was, I think, a self-appointed spokesperson of government, talking about potholes here, you know, talking about things which were uncoordinated. So we thought the work he had given himself, he needed to have paid for a work permit for it in order to do that kind of work. So of course, to work in any country, including Uganda, an individual must possess a valid work permit. This country has laws, has regulations, has policies to follow. It is not permissible to work or study on a visa or visitor's tourist pass. And unfortunately, for aid, it did not adhere to these regulations. And as a law-abiding country, we could not sit and just clap hands as he continues to break the immigration law. So as it's a standard practice, he was removed from the country along with several others. I wonder why they did not make noise about the others he was removed along with. But I think because he had created a name on TikTok as popular. And of course, all individuals engaging in any form of work, whether it is business, employment, running an NGO, or voluntary work, must secure the necessary work permits, which this gentleman, Raid, popularly known as Muzungu border, did not adhere to. So those removed through organized departure can return to Uganda if they apply for the relevant work permit and it is granted. So we do hope this gentleman, now that he went back to New Zealand, he will sit down and go through the immigration laws and know and understand that for you to be able to work in a foreign country, you must have acquired a work permit for that effect. And finally, I will not get tired of warning fraudsters targeting passport applicants. We urge our valued, of course, passport applicants to be aware of fraudsters claiming to offer quick and fast services. The other time we reported of a gentleman who used to sit outside the ministry, especially around the MTN headquarters there, and his was to look for those who did not have photographs, and he would, of course, ignorantly parade them and take them to Rufula in the name of getting photographs for them to acquire passports. Remember, with the new passport application system, you do not need a photo taken from outside, because we have cameras, state-of-the-art, which do the cameras from processing center when you come for a passport. So we do not collaborate in any way with any agents. No one should claim to be a passport agent with the connections within our office. If you have come to apply for a passport, you have come to be personalized, please walk up to inside. Nobody should attempt to deter you from entering the ministry premises. The Ministry of Internal Affairs is a government ministry that allows the public. Some of these have been scaring people that entering the ministry will lead to arrest over nothing. So the ministry is open to whoever cares to come to the passport center. Because of the efficient way we are doing things now, our call center has continuously received very few calls of recent, meaningful calls. We have now a group of some young men, because their voices are a bit similar. They keep calling our agents, asking for numbers, asking to take them out for lunch. Now you can see, instead of asking serious things about passport, about permits, they're asking to take our call agents out for lunch. This means we have addressed the passport issues flatly. We have addressed the work permit issues. We do not have issues for people to call. That's why I think they are now digressing and talking about lunch, dinner for our agents. So we continue calling upon our people, especially applicants who seek for our services, to be very, very careful, especially about the brokers who offer, who promise to offer a quick service. Passport applications now are run very fast. If you applied today, you get the appointment the same day. I have just applied the passports for my children this morning at 8, and I was given an appointment at 9. And by the time I walked in here, the process is ongoing. So you do not have to use a third party or a broker in matters to do, especially with passport and other services, because things have been streamlined. By the time I left the ministry, there were just a handful of people applying for passports in the center. Our officers were almost redundant, waiting for applicants to enter there. So we want to thank the new administration at the ministry and the officers for this milestone. So, of course, there are people who are still being conned, even with this efficiency. Just 2 weeks ago, a gentleman, this is a lawyer working with a reputable firm in Kampala, who was conned 1 million shillings in the name of offering a quick passport. A lawyer who knows the law, working within Kampala, being conned 1 million shillings. Of course, he came complaining to me, but as usual, with good PR, I was saying, sorry, sir, but back in my mind, I was saying, look at this fool. Because here, a lawyer to have been conned 1 million in the name of being assisted to process a passport. It does not carry a lot of sense at all. So these agents, of course, they pose outside the ministry premises, very smartly dressed, using scare tactics. You will be arrested inside, your passport will not come out. For you, you are not a Ugandan, the way you look. So they will use all of those tactics. But desist from that, walk inside, you will even be amazed at how quickly we process your passport. Only uniformed officers at our counters can provide, of course, guidance, disregard all instructions from unauthorized individuals who are not in uniform, who keep rotating outside the ministry, trying to lure you